Welcome to Biomedical Sciences. This is a side of biomedical tutorial, and today I'm going to be presenting on a very unique topic. So please subscribe to our channel, give us thumbs up, and you can comment and tell us how our video presentation is like. So thank you. Today our lesson will be on blood. An introduction to blood, learning objective. At the end of this lecture, we must be able to define blood, describe the properties of blood. And well, this is not a very hard task, very easy, and we are going to deal with it gradually. So just kind of pay attention as we go through our lesson. Thank you. What is blood? Blood is a connective tissue in fluid form. A connective tissue in fluid form. That is our key words there. Now, a connective tissue is a tissue that provides supports, gives structure, and protect other tissues and organs. And definitely, our blood does all those stuff. So, we must be able to understand that our blood is not just an ordinary fluid because it is providing structure. It is there to provide support. Our red blood cell provides support to life because it transports oxygen into our body. Our red blood cell collects oxygen from our lungs and transport it to those capillaries, to those tissues in our body. Because without oxygen, our body cannot function properly. So it provides support to our body. Our blood also protects us. This is why make our blood very unique. It's not just an ordinary water because it contains white blood cells. We have two categories of white blood cells. We have granular white blood cells and we have agranular white blood cells. And these cells help us in all ways to protect our body from microbes, organisms, or pathogens. It protects our tissues because it gives rise to our lining epithelial cells. Those cells that help protect our skin layers, our tissues, provide nutrients for pharynx so that our muscle stones can be built properly. So our blood is a connective tissue. A very important thing you should know that the reason for which our blood is a connective tissue is that it contains matrix. And for short, the matrix portion of the blood is the plasma. And within the plasma, we find the cells and we find organic substances, we find enzymes, minerals, proteins, etc. So that is the definition for blood. Blood is a connective tissue in fluid form because it gives support to structures, protects other tissues and organs. Now, as I was saying, connective tissue, this is a structure of the human hand and relating to how a connective tissue is like. Now, when we look at this layer here, this is the cartilage at the end of the bone. And within the cartilage, we know that the cartilage is a very flexible structure that is at the end of the bone very, very much indeed flexible, and much of it contains the synovial fluid. Within this cartilage, we are seeing cells, and these cells are in matrix. The fluid portion that these cells are moving in is the matrix. And this particular matrix is a blood because the blood circulates in every portion of our body. Blood circulates. The blood is responsible to transport the cells from one capillaries to another capillaries. The adipose tissues. The blood gives support to the adipose tissue because it carries those necessary fatty substances that are needed to be in that layer to incubate our skin layers, our body. Our muscles. Our muscles contain collagen fibers, cells nucleus. So these fibers needs to be built. Need to be having tones. So in order for this to happen, our blood must circulate into every portion of this fabric by carrying enzymes, by carrying plasma proteins that will help our muscles function properly. So this is what makes our blood be very, very much important, and it is our connective tissue. So let's proceed. I was talking about matrix, and this is a component of the blood. When you look into this structure, you will see the plasma, yellow fluid portion. Now this plasma is the matrix because it hosts all of those cells that are freely moving. It is the plasma that they are suspended in. So that's what makes a blood to be connective tissue, because it contains matrix that will hold those particles or those cells that are suspended within them. And looking here, we have our red blood cells, which have various functions: carrying oxygen to our body, removing deoxygenated cells back through circulation, obtaining oxygen, moving the oxygens from our body, or carbon dioxide in the form of bicarbonate. And we have here red blood cells. They are circulating too. Our red blood cells responsible to fight microorganisms in our body or invading microorganisms. And as I said previously, our red blood cells are very important. It plays a major role in our immune response to microorganisms. And it is within our blood, this red blood cells is suspended. Within there, we have plasma, we have the platelets. A platelet is a cell, very fragile cells that is within the blood, and it participates in clotting formation. This is very unique. So if you were to cut a bit, and sometimes we cut within like 2 minutes, we see that the area is sealed up and blood is no longer flowing to that area. And we may think, why is the cause blood is not flowing again? It is because our platelets are very active and our clotting factors are active. So definitely when we cut, those platelets begin to participate in forming a coagulation in order that blood may not escape our system. Alright, why blood is considered the fluid of life, growth, and health. Now, many understand blood to be Oh, blood is the fluid of life, blood is the fluid of growth, blood is the fluid of health. But what makes it to be the fluid of growth, health, or life? Now, let's know. Fluid of life. In order that we might breathe every second, our blood needs to carry oxygen. Oxygen. O2. Oxygen. O2. And this oxygen that we inhale into our lung, it is transported from our heart to the process of circulation. So, all the oxygenated bloods or carbon dioxide circulates or enters from the right side of our heart, and all oxygenated blood leaves our heart chambers from the left side to be distributed to our superior cavities and the inferior cavities. So, oxygen must be transported to every vessels, every tissues layer, every cells that are participating within the blood. They must be able to obtain oxygen. If so, proper circulation must go on. If our body does not receive oxygen, we will start to have some deficiency, such as cyanosis. Cyanosis, where our skin pigment changes and begin to be purple. So, also, our blood contains many gases. So, after cellular respiration or metabolism, those gases that is not useful must be excreted out of our body. So this is where our blood has to be removing carbon dioxide, CO2, in the form of bicarbonate. This is done by the help of an enzyme called the carbonate anhydrase that is with suspended in the plasma, help remove those carbon dioxide from our tissues so that it can get a fresh oxygen into them. So 92% of all those oxygen that circulate our body is in the form of oxyhemoglobin, meaning oxygen and hemoglobin combined circulates our body to support life. This is the circulation process, and as we can see, tissue capillaries is a very tiny vessel, and our capillaries are there to separate oxygenated blood from deoxygenated blood. So this is the process of circulation. Our blood enter the right chamber from the right atrium to the right ventricle, and it leads from there by the pulmonary arteries, from there into our lungs for oxygen, get back as oxygenated blood, and then into our body. So let's keep on. Fluid of growth. Why our blood is considered the fluid of growth? Our blood is considered fluid of growth because it transports nutritive substance, and it also transports Hormones. Our body carry on metabolism or metabolic processes. So those metabolic processes depends on nutrients, depends on enzymes activation, depends on hormones. So definitely when we eat food, enters our digestive tract, absorb, and the food that we eat, those fluid portion is absorbed into our bloodstream. You see that? Our blood holds the fluid and then transport them into the rightful sac for preparation. Now, those nutrients they are transformed into various forms from amino acid. Now we get into another form being used in metabolic process, provide energy, doing glycogen process. So for short, it gives us strength by providing those nutrients that our body needs. It provides hormones that provide those enzymes, those chemicals that are there to regulate every chemicals processes in our body. For example, we need to have sufficient insulin to be able to regulate our sugar. So if we don't have them and we are not eating food properly that will provide those things, we may suffer from a metabolic disorder and that will lead us to very serious or critical condition. So blood circulates nutrients, food into every portion of our body. So that is the reason why a blood is a fluid of growth. Fluid of health. There are two main important things we are going to look at here. Protection, excretion. Our white blood cells that is suspended within the blood protect us from microbes or pathogens that invade our body. And after those pathogens has been destroyed, or after we use all those chemicals processes in our body goes on, after food has been digested, after we take oxygen in, after we drink water, we need to excrete those waste products so that it cannot cause harm to us. And it is our blood that participate in those acts by carrying waste product to the kidney filter our blood, take those waste fluid in the form of urine, we excrete in the form of perspiration, we excrete in the form of defecation. So all those things come to be through the blood, because if the blood does not circulate those waste products to where it's supposed to be excreted, it will not be. If our blood wasn't having a protected cells, we were going to die on a daily basis, because on the 100% statistics, we play into microorganisms every day. So it is our defense mechanism, our cells, that help us protect us from those microorganisms that are invading our body. So this is the reason why a blood is a fluid of health, providing protection to our body and also excreting those waste products that will cause harm to us. Properties of blood. We are going to look at these main important properties of blood. What a blood is made of. What are those things that a blood have? What are those things that blood is composed of? A property. What a blood has a copyright to. So a blood has its own copyright. And what are those properties that belongs to the blood? Number one, the color of the blood. The color of the blood matters. If our blood is not red, definitely we must start to understand something. But we will discuss that ahead. The blood volume, the blood pH, specific gravity, and the viscosity of the blood. How thick is the blood? So this is the reason why our blood is not an ordinary fluid, because our blood is very thick. It's 100 times thicker than water. So these are the properties of blood: the color of the blood, the volume of the blood, the pH of the blood, the specific gravity of the blood, and viscosity of the blood. Color of the blood. Our blood is normally red in color. A blood must be red in color. So there are two forms our blood will appear, especially those work in laboratories. When the technician is called upon to draw a sample for testing, and sometimes the patient might wonder, oh wow, what happens to my blood? My blood looks so dark red. Why is the cause? So now there are two forms of blood, or there are two types of color in circulation. Now, arterial blood. We all know that the arteries is there to carry blood to all part of the body. So blood that are circulating in our arteries, they are bright red. Bright red. So blood that are in our artery is very red, bright red, because they contain oxygen. Oxygen in those blood will be red because there are a lot of active hemoglobin at that time that is circulating within the artery. So blood formed within our arteries, they will always be red, bright red. Remember, normal blood is red in color. Arterial blood is bright red. Now, blood that circulates in our vein returns blood back to our heart. So blood that circulates in our veins, they are dark red. Why? Because they contain carbon dioxide or bicarbonate. It's the same as carbon dioxide. This is what I'm trying to say. This is the form of, in this structure we have oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood is bright red. Some say scarlet red. Now this scarlet red or bright red color is an arterial blood. These are blood that circulates through our arteries. Now dark red blood, as we see here, dark red blood here is this. Dark red blood is venous blood. Venous blood, which is this blood is deoxygenated. It do not contain oxygen, so it is going back into our lung for recirculation to obtain oxygen. So this is the reason why if an asthmatic patient is under a serious attack, that person's blood might be thicker than a normal viscosity. It will be very dark, and our skin. And there is something that I would like to discuss. Some people had a man say that our blood is either purple or blue due to cyanosis. And no, our blood is always dark red if there is no oxygen circulating sufficiently. And it will cause problem to those cells that are found within our tissue that will give us a physical appearance on our tissue by changing the coloration of our skin, not our blood, but our skin will become purple in appearance due to lack of oxygen in those blood cells that are circulating. But our blood is never purple if there is no oxygen circulating in them. Now, volume of blood. Normal adult has an average blood volume of 5 liters, while a newborn baby has 450 milliliters of blood. And a female total volume of blood is 4.5 liters. So definitely, if a person blood volume drop below, then that is a problem. He or she need to attend to the physician for a better checkup and treatment. So remember, normal average volume of blood is 5 liters. A newborn baby blood volume is 450 milliliter, not liter but milliliter. And a female contains 4.5 liter of blood in an average healthy person. pH. The pH is the hydrogen ion concentration of the blood. This, in short, tells you that our blood, to know how acidic our blood is. Our blood is not too acidic and it is not acidic. So meaning slightly alkaline, meaning that our blood is a bit salty, which tells you that the acid component is not that much. So our pH is 7.4 or 7.35 to 7.45. That is our pH ranking laboratories reference ranges. That is our normal pH for an individual. Blood pH, not urine pH. This is our blood pH. Normal blood pH 7.4 or 7.35 to 7.45. Specific gravity of the blood. Our specific gravity is the weight of the substance compared to that of the equal volume of water. So those substances, the weight of our body as compared to the volume of water within us is our specific gravity. So our normal or total specific gravity of blood is 1.05 to 1.061, while our specific gravity for our blood cells, because our blood cells has weight, so the specific gravity of a normal healthy individual blood cells is 1.092 to 1.101. Specific gravity of plasma is 1.022 to 1.026. Viscosity of blood. Blood viscosity measures the thickness and the stickiness of an individual blood. As I said previously, our blood is not a fluid on ordinary water. No, it is a connective tissue. And due to those substances that are suspended within it, definitely that makes it to be very thicker than water, sticky than the water. So a blood is 100 times sticky and thicker than a water. So thank you for watching our video, and goodbye.